Well, what do we have here? We got a little WrestleSense live report here tonight where everyone has their own WrestleSense opinion, and that's okay. You may not be right. We may tell you about yourself, but everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. Like who you want to like, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. It's the beauty of professional wrestling. We're here to talk about pretty historic night the other night and a weekend as well. Let's get right to it, man. We got Wally in the building as always. He enjoyed the shows on Tuesday. Tiffany's in the house. Welcome in. Atticus, didn't you guys go to Raw? You guys got to give us some details. I know it was out your way. I think you guys went to Raw, a few of you guys. So definitely let us know in the chat how you thought it was. I thought it was a pretty damn good show. We got Aaron West in the house. What's up, Wheels? Good to see you, my man. Azrael as well. Good to see you. Welcome in. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up earlier the better. I appreciate it. We're going to get down to business, talk Fastlane, talk Tuesday, and just talk wrestling. How about it? Why not? You know what I'm saying? CJ, what is happening?
What's going on, man?
Man, it might just be me and you for a while. Doc is on assignment tonight, family stuff.
That's fine. That's fine.
Big Ray will be along here in a minute. Just got a message from him. He might be delivering pizzas in the car or something like always.
He might be doing something.
AK's in the house. What's up, AK? Good to see you, my man. All right, so let's just get right into it. Why waste time, right? Why waste time? Now, me and you, I did mention this first thing the other day to you, and I saw this, and it made me think of the territory systems. Obviously, it'll never be like it used to be, but I kind of like the fact that he wants to reach out and get some local places to feed the process of coming up. I know we had NWA East here in the Pittsburgh area before.
Yes.
Now, what's your thoughts on him trying to maybe branch out to these little federations and stuff to bring in more talent?
I mean, I feel like it's a good thing for all the boys and girls because it's going to create more opportunities. I think like we had touched base on the other day when me and you were chatting, I just can't justify someone being allowed to only work in a certain territory unless that territory is able to pay their bills and have it be a career for said person. You know
now,
what I mean?
Here's the question I got, because I mean, you knew a lot more about when NWA East was around here than I do.
Yeah.
Did NWA like help fund or anything those smaller places, or no? They just did their own thing and
kind of did their own thing. I mean, there may have been some of these like affiliates, if you want to call them that may have received funding. And I mean, if NWA East did, I sure didn't fucking see it. So,
like, I guess the NWA talent could more likely go down and be a part of those smaller shows too.
Yeah, to help
because of the connection. Yeah,
to help benefit the draw, and
yes,
and it would be up to those people that are already established within that federation to keep that crowd coming back.
Yeah, I like that. So, I mean, we'll keep an eye on it and see where it goes. But this is the first that I've heard of it. They got a Midwest one, so I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't see an answer yet. Kelly, didn't you guys go to Raw on Monday? Let me know if you guys did go on to Raw. I thought it was like 4 or 5 of you guys that went or something. We'll talk about it here in a minute for a little bit. Chuck's in the house, big Chuck. Chuck was getting into Halloween. Do you like his time? Are you big on Halloween?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Yes, I already went and saw X. Last weekend or 2 weekends ago? Right. Yeah. Halloween's it's one of my favorite holidays of the year.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get down to let's go back to the weekend first, and we saw 2 new tag team champs, both in AEW and in WWE. Both surprises to me. I didn't see either one coming, and I think that's a good thing. What was your feel when you saw 2 new tag champs on both companies?
I mean, I'm going to be 1,000% honest. I did not watch either show in full because I was busy at Super Indy that night. I caught bits and pieces of Fastlane. Surprising, yes, but no.
Wait, before you go into detail, Super Indy. I mean, we talked about it last week, and Duke Davis winning the whole thing.
Duke Davis is your new Super Indy champion.
Nice.
Jock Sampson is no longer employed by IWC. However, he will have his final uncontracted match of his career against Kanan Christopher November the 4th to get some retribution for Kanan Christopher causing Jock Sampson to lose against Anthony Katina and end his IWC career.
Oh, look, they're already going after me. CJ, the real face of WrestleSense. There you go. Kissing his ass, asshole. So
I speak the facts. I speak the facts.
And that's why I love having you on here, man. We all have different opinions. We can debate it. We don't really argue and get each other's throats.
No reason
that's what the beauty of being a pro wrestling fan is to me, is different opinions. To me, I said it, I think 2 weeks ago. I was like, man, Big Bill has been impressive and fun to watch. They're going to end up putting a belt on him. And I didn't see it coming, but apparently Cash is injured.
Yes.
Yeah, so part of the reason. But hey, put a belt. This is Ricky's first belt too, I believe, right? Starks, he hasn't held a title.
No, he's had FTW.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for them. I mean,
yeah, they both deserve it.
Yeah. And Cody and Jay, we talked a little bit about it beforehand. When they first made the team, and I know they made the reasoning because Cody kind of brought Jay back onto the show. And at first I was like, man, I don't know if I like it. They're just throwing 2 guys together. And the first time they tag, they win the championship.
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because they're great performers. I'm not doubting but you throw them together, they're teaming for the first time and they win it all. But I get why.
This could all be part of Cody finishing the original story.
True.
I'm not saying Jay will turn or what have you, but it would be the seeds are already planted if that's the route they wanted to go. True.
And Jay first tag team title without his brother, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's something different. I like something different. I don't like the predictable. So that's why I like both of these things as surprises. But then we got after the show, I thought this was fun. I thought it was really fun. Yeet! And now that's catching on everywhere. And Cody cracking up. It was kind of like a boomer and a millennial tag team.
Wally, I gotta correct you, buddy. I don't believe this is the first time Cody's been a tag team champion.
Yeah, I think he did have. Who would he have?
He had, I think, quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
There he is.
Hola.
Yeah. So who was
What
Cody
up?
tag title holder with before? We're trying to figure out.
He held him with DiBiase.
Yeah.
There you go.
DiBiase Jr. And I think
Yeah,
there
whenever
were
he was
other
in
ones.
Legacy.
Yeah.
He held them with his brother.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeet.
So this is our first real thing we really talked about. And I mean, the two new tag team champions, Big Bill and Ricky Starks, and then these two. And then the scrum afterwards had me dying, had me laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, they admitted they were
hilarious.
drinking, but it was really funny. What did you think about not only the two new tag team champions, Starks and Bill, and these two, and the scrum? What did you think about the new tag champs in
The
both
scrum
companies?
was hilarious. I'm not going to say I'm happy about the tag team champions. As far as Cody and Jay go, I don't hate it. It's just right now they have a lot of really good, talented tag teams. There's a lot of depth, surprisingly, in WWE, which has never really been the case.
Yeah.
And we keep going from two superstars together to two superstars together. You know, like Sammy and Kevin had to beat the Usos. I mean, we know that had to happen. That made sense. But then it goes to the Judgment Day, which I don't have a problem with the Judgment Day getting them. I have a problem with Damian Priest being part of that and winning Money in the Bank, because now they're not really a tag team. The focus is really on Damian Priest and when he's going to cash in, when he's not going to cash in, etc. Not totally on the tag team championships. And now we're on to Jay and Cody, who are not a tag team, and it's all about a different storyline, not an actual tag team storyline. That's my only gripe on it. I love them together. I thought the scrum was hilarious.
Me too.
I like this little union. If the tag team titles were separated, let me put it to you this way, and they were just the Raw tag team champions, and the SmackDown tag team champions were Street Profits, LWO, like anybody, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But them taking up the entire tag team division now for a storyline that's not really a tag team storyline, just the same way that Damian Priest and Finn really weren't a tag team storyline, drives me nuts.
See, it's almost like Ray was here, because we just said, CJ just said it is part of maybe Cody's full story. We got to wait and see. And I said I didn't really like it at first because it's the first time they tag together and they win the titles.
I mean, it does serve a little bit of purpose, because now it puts Cody back able to be on SmackDown, because they can float or whatever. But like I said, I don't like
hilarious
it. I'm
together.
going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I fucking love it. On AEW side,
Bill and Starks.
I love Bill and Starks. Was it a little early for them to win tag gold? Maybe. However, the way the storyline played out, as far as them playing Cash Wheeler's injury, and the fucking force that Big Bill is, and the mouthpiece of Starks and that tag team with him being a heater and the big man, love every minute of it. And I hope they get a legit run with these titles, and this isn't just a transition thing.
I think they will.
That Starks is fucking money. I've thought that for a long time. I think that Big Cass, Big Bill, whatever the big fuck you want to call him, I don't care. I think that he is way more charismatic and a way better worker than he's given credit for. He's a great big man, but he needs the little guy. He needs an Enzo. He needs a Starks to be the real mouthpiece, because as charismatic as he is, nobody wants to hear Big Bill or Big Cass talk for 10 minutes in a promo.
True.
But him interjecting a little bit of that flavor here and there works really well, as long as he has somebody to play off of. And I mean, Starks is money.
Yeah. Like I said too, they're both surprises to me, and I love surprises in wrestling. I don't want the obvious or stuff like that. Let's talk about this real quick. The rest of Fastlane. Oh wait, did I miss one? No, we'll get to that after. The rest of Fastlane. We got the tag team match. Did you get to see Fastlane, Ray?
Yeah,
I saw it too. I mean, all together, I enjoyed it. I like the fact that they didn't pow in a million. Every match got a good bit of time, and overall, I thought it was pretty damn good. What do you think about it, Ray?
I enjoyed it. I liked the Carlito comeback. Thought he looked really good. Would have liked to have seen the heel turn the way I had booked it out. That didn't happen, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad to see him back in the fold, and I enjoyed that match. I thought Seth and Shinsuke had a great match. The story was phenomenal. They beat the shit out of each other. would have liked to have seen Shinsuke
Me
win.
too. I was just going to say, I wish you would have got it.
The women's match was surprisingly good. I mean, I guess not surprisingly. I mean, you got some really great workers in there, but I mean, it was sometimes with the women's matches, and I'm not just saying this to take a shot at the women, but sometimes with the women matches, when you get into the three-ways, because they don't do them as much, it gets a little clusterfuckish. Gotcha. And I didn't really see that in this one, but then again, you have Asuka and Charlotte who've been wrestling each other now for 10 years. And Asuka and Io who know each other really well. So I mean, you had a lot of chemistry there, but I thought that match went off really well. The Cena LA Knight thing was exactly what you expected it to be. Yeah. It was fun. So like I said, all in all, it was an entertaining pay-per-view.
Same. What about you, CJ?
I only actually saw the first 3 matches. The LWO stuff was great. It was great seeing Carlito come back. I didn't particularly like how they did it. I don't like the new music. It's fucking throat yogurt. Give him his normal music.
Give away with words.
Yeah, I think Ray has a little bit of a point that I agree with about the women. And I don't feel like it's clusterfucky because it's a 3-way. I think a lot of the times where we're saying clusterfucky, it's because they're not given enough time to build a story and let it play out. But I do agree with you. I thought it was really solid. The tag match was really, it was good, man. And I can't really speak on the Seth and Shinsuke, besides that I would have preferred Shinsuke to go over, and I didn't see the other tag at all.
So let's
move. I will say that where they took it with Seth Monday night, and I know I'm sure we'll touch on this a little bit later, but where they took it with Seth Monday night, I do like the idea of. I like what they're doing with Drew. I like how that's playing off into it. It's just you finally got Shinsuke to be a believable main eventer.
Yeah.
So, like, to pass it right off, I hate.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Now, behind the scenes news outside of the ring, this news came through. Endeavor handed. Now we're hearing it again. Do you guys buy it? Is Triple H in control? Is Vince out, or is it still CJ? Go ahead.
I actually do buy it, and I think you could go back and look at video about the whole presser with Ari Emanuel and Vince. Ari was telling Vince what Vince wanted to hear, knowing all damn well is the minute he could get Vince out the fucking door any way possible, he was going to do so.
Yeah, so I've heard on some of the other podcasts that I've watched where they said it kind of felt like once the buyout came through that they were kind of done with Vince finding a way out of it. Do you agree with that, Ray? Do you think? I mean he's probably still going to have his take.
If you look just based on the booking.
Yeah.
So let's take everything background out. Let's just look at the booking decisions since that became final.
Gargano,
Shinsuke Nakamura, now I'm in the main event.
Yep.
Tommaso Ciampa, main event match on Raw versus Gunther.
Johnny's back. Bronson Reed is getting wins.
Yeah, it does.
As a focus. There's a lot of shit in there that has happened since then that feels like Vince would not have done this.
Yes,
true.
And a lot of Triple H pushing his guys and Becky going down to NXT and facing, Dakota Kai and, Triple H lending Cena, calling in a favor from Taker, lending Cody, lending Paul down to Shawn Michaels in NXT to be like, you know what? Fuck AEW. Let's put a spanking on them.
Can't blame them.
You know what I mean? Like, all of those decisions are not something that I think we would have seen as readily in the Vince McMahon era as we're seeing now since the buyout, because I feel like Triple H does feel empowered that they basically said, like, yeah, we're behind you, do your thing.
Yep. Yeah. Love it. Other news that before we get to the Tuesday night thing, there was news about the Wyatt Six maybe coming back and a little bit of stuff. Now, number one, we looked at this a million times, and I've heard a million people say, you can't tell me that's not Grayson Waller.
It wasn't.
And it's not, because here's the picture.
Yeah.
So it was whoever Jason Baker is played the Fiend. And then That guy right there was Grayson Waller. I mean, it looked like it would have been Grayson Waller.
I laughed that people were saying, "Oh, look, Eddie Kingston was Wambling Rabbit." Looks nothing like it. Looks nothing like. I didn't even put that.
Yeah, oh jeez, that's like a dollar store Eddie Kingston. So now the rumors are kind of circulating: Uncle Howdy, Wyatt Six, and possibly the Funhouse coming back. What, CJ? What do you think they should let it rest, or do you like maybe a traditional, pay homage to him down the line?
I think if Bo Dallas wants to do it, you do it. But if Bo Dallas doesn't want to do it, you don't do it.
Here's how I look at it. Like hopefully Bray had like a book that he wrote all a bunch of his ideas down, and they can use that because I want his brain as part of it.
Listen,
but if it's not, what do you think, Ray? Go
you're
ahead.
talking about his brother here, okay?
True.
Look, just on this little caucus right here, CJ and I, for example, one of my best friends for the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
When CJ decided to make his comeback, one of the first conversations we had is, "This is my booking idea. This is what we're doing. What do you think? What are your thoughts? What would you change?" And vice versa. Whenever I came back in 07, 08, 010, whatever the hell that was, and had my little feud with Troy Lords, I'm talking to CJ like, "What do you think I should do? How should I play this?" Look at it from the outside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's what friends, especially, but also like brothers do. So I'm sure that Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt talked in depth about where he wanted to take the character, what he wanted to do. Not to mention the fact that this is the same bloodline, the same guys, the same blood running through their veins, the same wrestling family.
True.
So they probably already have very, very similar ideas and theories about how the wrestling business should work and what it does and how they were doing it. So like CJ said, if Bo Dallas is 100% down and wants to do this, to pay homage to his brother, to continue that thing, 100,000% let him do it. If Bo is only, well, Triple H wants me to do this, I don't really want to do it, then fucking don't do it. Because if his heart isn't into it, it's going to be shit. But if he wants to do it, I feel like absolutely give it a try, absolutely run with it, because that was so creative and so much fun. And to even, while it might not be exactly the way Bray did it, exactly the way Bray was going to do it, whatever, it's still something different. And if Bo's invested, Bo was a great worker. Bo just never got a shot.
I was just going to say.
And after NXT, I mean, he was never given a shot. And even when he was given chicken shit, like the B team, he got that shit over.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Bo Leave.
Run, man.
I fucking loved Bo Leave.
So if you're right, if it is done the right way or similar and Bo has a big deal with it, I'm down too. Let's talk about new names. We've talked about a lot of new names in the past. Me and CJ talked a little bit about this before. Brian Pillman now going by Lexis King. First of all, I like it because there's reasoning behind it. Lexis for his sister, King for his stepfather, who he never really knew his dad. I didn't realize he died when he was 4.
If you haven't seen it, check out the Dark Side of the Ring about Brian Pillman.
It's solid.
It's really good. It goes into depth about a lot of that shit.
So I'm hype on this.
I know Junior personally, so like he's gonna do it right. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the first name. I get why. I mean, I know it's his sister's name. I thought his look was kind of odd to me with
the weird hairlines or something.
Yeah, the weird dye lines and stuff. But again, it's a unique look. I mean, I'm remembering it immediately, not just But the fact that they played into that, the fact that he's going to come into that heel and denounce the stuff, is great. And you can always down the line flip him babyface at any time by accepting who he is and blah blah blah. So it plays in a great storyline down the road for if that character gets dry or needs a huge change or needs a huge babyface push where, we can play into that. And I feel like this is just a straight WWE thing. I mean, obviously we're seeing Braun Breaker in prominence now to NXT, possibly going to the main roster. They didn't want to give him the Steiner name. They wanted, but they didn't shy away from the fact that he's a Steiner. I mean, he's the dog face. Right. You know what I mean? Like, they're not shying away from the history, but copyright reasons, they want their own name. But then also, like, to kind of distance the character so much so that it's not, exactly the same. And that's not something they did in the past. In the past, obviously, we saw Cody Rhodes. We saw Ted DiBiase Jr., And I think it's just a conscious decision to kind of do that. And like I said, the way they did the vignette yesterday with him denouncing his father, anyone who knows that history, and if not, they have tons of lore, to play into with that history. of his father being a loose cannon and him not knowing him and drug problems and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of good meat there to work with as a storyteller. So I dig it, man. And I hope he gets an honest shot, because as much as we talk about how good AEW is at booking people a lot of times, this is one they missed on. This is one they're going to regret. And this is somebody I feel like should have been way more prominent than the Varsity Blondes. And
Agreed.
they had a chance. They started to do it in that Cincinnati show where they started to push him more towards the thing, but then he was just totally forgotten again. And like CJ said, I don't know him personally, but I've heard nothing but good things about him. And in the ring, he's solid.
Yeah,
if you really want to see what Brian Pillman Jr. is, go watch MLW stuff. Search Brian Pillman MLW.
Watch anything he's done on the indies.
Yeah, I mean, in the MLW stuff, he was a main eventer. He was a champion, and it's legit. He's good.
I love the fact they didn't ignore the past. That's a great point, Ray, because sometimes they're just like, all right, here's this new guy, Lexus King. Like, we don't know who he is, but they did talk about his past and then give us reason for the name. Let's talk about someone else that we talk about all the time, and he's always in the news. First, we heard he intends to come back, and they were all in talks. And then we heard they declined. Where you sit right now with Punk coming back, Steve?
They didn't decline anything. There hasn't been any fucking talks.
Exactly.
There hasn't been any fucking talks.
Well, percentage-wise, what do you think he's going to – is he show up at Survivor Series or no? What percentage do you say right now, CJ?
50-50.
Okay.
If Punk is willing to make amends with the people that he's spoken out about in the past, then it is good for business. I don't care what anybody else says. Him coming back to WWE would be good for business if he could keep his head on fucking straight, make amends. Fuck, Cody Rhodes took a fucking sledgehammer and fucking thrashed the fucking throne. Never say fucking never, okay? Do I think they need to do it right now? No, because I think it's expected. I think you wait until a time where it's completely unexpected and pop that new rating, because you already have a good base going, you know?
Yeah. There's two dates for this. First off, it's going to happen. It's not an if, it's a when.
Okay.
Look,
I disagree, but I'm
with CJ.
It's going to happen. Hulk Hogan sued fucking McMahon for steroids and he came back. Warrior motherfucked everybody and came back. They fucking named an award after Warrior after he held Vince McMahon up for money. There is a never, and you cannot sit there as a casual fan, as a journalist, as a pundit, as a hardcore fan, as anybody, and say that CM Punk does not move the needle. Because you would be full of shit.
Like
CM Punk, when he returned, was a massive needle-moving event. CM Punk, when Collision debuted in his return or whatever, was drawing ratings on a new show on a Saturday against stiff competition, and the ratings have went down since he's left. You cannot say that this man does not. He still has a top 10 selling shirt in AEW. He's not even fucking there.
Angelita, you just proved our point with what you said in the chat.
I didn't see it, but
it's the GTS. They've been doing all these little hints or things.
Why would you not? And it means absolutely nothing.
Here's two dates. Here's two dates that I'll give you. And I think if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be one of these two dates. The Raw after Royal Rumble. Not at the Rumble.
Okay.
Because they'll want to pop the rating, they'll want to get as much juice on it as possible. So he comes back to Raw after Rumble to set up a WrestleMania storyline. And I wholeheartedly believe that if he signs, they are going to sign him to 6-month or 1-year contracts only. This is not going to be some long-term deal. They're not going to put up with this bullshit. The other thing is, if they don't feel that they need him for Mania, Raw after Mania, that Monday night, if that music fucking hits on the rowdiest crowd, the place goes fucking ape shit, and then that gives you a huge buy for that after WrestleMania pay-per-view.
I like both of those, actually. I don't think you do it at Survivor Series, because that's
not
what people
Survivor
expect.
Series.
They're going to cheer for him at Chicago. They're going to chant for him, but I like not showing up because everyone expects it, like you guys said.
And actually, with it being in Chicago, if that CM Punk chant breaks out, we've already got the history with Seth Rollins saying he doesn't want Punk back. We've already got all that. If Rollins, if Rollins gets on the mic in Chicago and cuts a little bit of a promo pre-match and says, you can chant his name all you want, he's not welcome here, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't hear shit. Radio silence.
Yeah.
Until after the Rumble. And then after the Rumble, say Seth Rollins is still your world champion. And he comes out and they're all singing his song. And while they're doing the whoa, whoa, and it's just the crowd singing, you hear and Cult of Personality kick off. That fucking place erupts. And that is a night one WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're going to get the CM Punk chance because it's Chicago. And what that says to me is it is going to force every man and woman on that show to work harder to drown out those CM Punk chants.
Great
and that's
point.
how it should be.
You know what I would do? I would have Seth come out and sit on the top of the ramp, cross his legs, and pull out a mic. And then cut his promo.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the big news of the week. We had versus. We had the dick swinging contest of Triple H. Shawn Michaels.
I mean, you could say it was a dick swinging contest, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
But I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
If you're calling it a dick swinging contest, we got Mandingo NXT versus fucking the Little Rascals on AEW.
I agree. And as much as I love the product that AEW puts out, it's my type of show.
You have me, you have John
close.
Holmes.
They're never going to come close to the spectacle that WWE can put on. And this was proof. You start throwing names in. Now, a lot of people are saying, you know, and they're trying for a TV rights too. So they have to get a big number. But I don't think they would have had this much star power if AEW wasn't on the same night. But
listen, I'm going to be honest as a fan here. We know how much of a wrestling fan I am. Obviously, I do this fucking show and I've been involved in blah, blah, blah. Cody Rhodes making an announcement, John Cena being in the corner, Paul Heyman being in the corner. I very rarely watch NXT just because I don't have time, okay? I just don't. So I'll fast forward. I'll look at the sheet. Honestly, sometimes after we do this show and you guys talk about something great that's happening, I'll go back and watch that segment before I delete it. But very rarely do I go out of my way to watch NXT just because I do not have time with watching Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and whatever fucking pay-per-view is on, plus my normal shit. The commercial for NXT, all through SmackDown and all that, as soon as you heard the fucking gong go off at the end,
it was over for
I'm
AEW.
like, God damn it.
I joked about that last week. I was like,
even myself, a huge AEW mark. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
I watched NXT before I watched Dynamite.
I watched them both, and I went back and watched
Dynamite before I watched NXT
because I wanted to see what was on at the same time. So I had my TV on one and my laptop on another, and I was really analyzing what they're putting up against each other and how did the overruns go. And SRS Sean Rossap put it exactly how I was trying to talk to CJ in chat about, and I couldn't get the words right. AEW was more of an in-ring fighting show. NXT was entertainment beyond what any other company can ever do. It was phenomenal. Both shows were great. I was entertained by both. I had no problem with either one. The only thing I didn't like, I thought Undertaker hitting Braun was shit. I think it was shit. I would have rather saw Undertaker facing off with Gacy or something. That's just my opinion. And it was kind of funny how Undertaker could barely get the bike around the corner.
Well, actually, I said the same thing. As soon as he got in front of that desk, I was like, oh, he's fucked. But no, dude, I liked it. So I mean, he's the American badass now. He said that the Phenom is retired. That persona's done.
Yeah.
So I mean, it played into it. It was a fun little segment. I'm sure Braun loved taking the fucking choke slam from the Undertaker. He jumped 9 feet in the fucking air. That wasn't Taker doing his shit.
Sold the shit out of it.
I mean, he sold the shit out of it. And like I said, it was an entertaining thing. I loved Cody as general manager for the night. You know, I loved him hearkening back to the Dusty Rose stuff about making, you know, that's something my dad would have done, blah, blah, blah. That was fucking phenomenal.
We got a little emotional. And I think we got a little emotional we got in there, man.
Yeah.
I was like.
Yeah, I mean, I dug the hell out of it.
I'm glad it wasn't only the tag team announcement, because that's what everyone's saying. He's going to just announce the tag team tournament, but he announced 3 things. I like that because I didn't expect it.
And then he made matches. I mean, he made, you know, the winner of the Carmelo and Braun, you know, was in with Baron Corbin and shit for the following week. I enjoyed
tag
it
team battle royal.
Yeah, Dragunov and Ray was a fun match. The women's matches I thought left a little to be desired. They weren't terrible. They weren't great. They weren't
it was
the pace of the show was fast. It was thing after thing after. You could not turn around. You'd miss something.
But the backstage segments, the guest spots, the fact that LA Knight was there as the guest referee,
point to the crowd. Yeah.
The little Williams thing with Cena in the back where he's like, let's talk.
Yeah.
You can kind of see that's about to pop off.
The bloodline thing.
Yeah, the bloodline thing with Paul recruiting. It was an entertaining show. And I think it did exactly what it was. On the other hand, when you go to Dynamite, I love the Christian intro. Loved it with him being in the truck and, saying, I made this, I went to TNT. This is my network. I made it commercial free.
Yeah, I got a couple things with Christian that's coming up. Well, I'll put
that was fun. I mean, the matches were good. I loved Powerhouse Hobbs just destroying Jericho.
We'll get there. We'll get to AEW. This is just NXT right now.
God damn it.
But I mean, as far as NXT, why not load it up if you can? So I had no problem with it. Carmelo, I think Carmelo, Braun, and Trick need to go up. I think they should all be in the Rumble. It's in my opinion, it's time. They're
Braun
ready.
Definitely. Carmelo, I can see a case for.
Maybe not Trick yet.
Trick yet.
I would like to see Trick. I would actually like to see Trick feud with Carmelo prior to Carmelo going up. I think Braun's ready. And actually, I think we saw maybe a little tidbit of what's going to happen. Maybe Braun gets hired as muscle for the bloodline. Maybe he's a bodyguard. I mean, he is a second-generation wrestler.
That's why I told CJ before the show. I was like, I love the Braun and Heyman. I would love to see them together on the main roster.
Anybody in Heyman is great.
Yeah, for sure.
They led into a lot of stuff too. They loaded up Raw next week. I mean, look at some of these matches. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And Raw this past week was really good. I think
this is the season premiere of Raw this coming Monday.
I think this past Raw was the best show of the week, in my opinion. It was awesome. I liked Raw. The whole show was really good on Monday. I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to next week too. And you're right. When it's season premiere, they load it up. So it's a great time for wrestling. So we're talking about the bloodline, and I like to play little games every once in a while. So we're going to make our own faction, and you guys in the chat can do it too. I saw this, and I was like, this is perfect for the show. Okay, so everyone picks a powerhouse, a high flyer, a leader, a tag team, and a manager. You guys in the chat can do the same thing. I'll tell you mine because I already picked mine. I got Heyman as my manager. I was going to go with the Hardy Boys, but I think I want the Dudleys in my stable. So I'm going to go Heyman, Dudleys. I want Jericho as my leader because he's my favorite out of those. That's all. I want AJ as my high flyer, although Rob Van Dam's a very close second, and Brock. So I got Brock, AJ, Jericho, Dudleys, and Heyman. That's my.
Why in the fuck is Vader in the high flyers?
He is?
Yeah, Vader is a high flyer.
Yeah.
Because it's Vader time.
All right, you ready? I got mine.
Good, CJ.
I got Heyman. I got the Usos.
Okay.
Triple H, AJ Styles, and Lesnar.
Nice. So we got three of the same.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ray?
I'm taking Don Callis as my manager since
all
you
right,
all
fair.
picked Heyman.
Love him.
I'm taking Edge and Christian as my tag team because with Callis as their manager and the swarmy shit that they could be.
Oh, you're going full
I'm
heel
taking
stable.
Triple H as my main eventer, my leader, because again, swarmy prick. I'm taking Van Dam as my high flyer because he could be the comic relief of that group. And I'm taking Batista as my powerhouse because again, in that group, you now have a bunch of swarmy, cocky pricks that would piss you off. And Callis as the mouthpiece would just be a catalyst of that.
Ray stable, known as the cocky pricks. I love it, the cocky prick stable. Yeah, you guys in the chat keep loading up, but I thought it'd be a fun little thing to pick your own. I didn't even notice the Vader thing in there. That's weird. That has to be a mistake. That has to be a mistake. Let's see what else we got.
He did do a moonsault, but that's about it.
One more thing.
As a fat guy that can do a moonsault, if that makes you a high flyer, then fuck yeah, I got another repertoire.
This picture, this next one that I saw last week. I was going to have it on here, but I had to add something to it so we could see it a little better. Back in the day, in WWF, WWE, you hardly ever had someone with the same first name. You hardly had anybody with the same similar nicknames or anything. So now we have this in AEW. You got the Marks, you got the Tonys, the Shawns, the Wheelers, Cash and Yuta. You got the Anthonys, the Bryans. You can always do the Pages and Cages in one big match too. I've been waiting for that. The Matts, the Mikes. I didn't see. I forgot about Mike Posey. And I forgot Santana's first name was Mike. You got the Nicks and you have the Lees with his first names and last names.
Yeah, but whenever you stop doing that is when you end up with dumbass fucking first names like
yes.
fucking Lexus and Braun and Cadillac and Mercedes and Sugar Bear and I don't even.
I like the fact that they can do this though, and I thought it was really funny. You have the Kyles, the Laylas, two different types of Laylas, but the Maxes who we've been seeing on TV together.
Well, apparently we're gonna have Edge as Cope. They kept referring to him the entire night in his match as Cope instead of Adam or Copeland. So
yeah. I'm a lot of other. I give people. I'm still trying not to say Edge because everyone's still saying Edge, and I'm like, I'm trying not to say Edge, but it's very tough not to say Edge. There was an RVD quote I really liked. And this is my personal opinion. This is kind of why, and a lot of people are going to shit on Tony Khan because of what he does on Twitter and stuff, and we'll get to that. But RVD put it this way, and this is how I feel. Vince McMahon reeks of importance and power. Tony Khan is extremely humble, kind, and appreciative. It just struck a note with me what RVD said. It's how I feel.
That's why WWE is as big as it is, and that's why AEW has a lot to learn.
Yeah, and it expressed my feeling, and I love RVD so much. One thing that they did, I think it's the next one. Another thing that Tony Khan did, and it definitely a very awesome thing to do is give away all these 50,000 toys for Tots.
So
I think
I want you to take what CJ just said and what you're showing right now and talking about, and that is a microcosm of exactly what it is. So I feel like Tony Khan, first off, I feel like he's a very talented booker. He's a very passionate owner.
Yeah.
He does great things for charities, great things like you're showing right here. He has one glaring character flaw, and that is the fact that he cannot fucking not comment on every mark on Twitter and try to make it like it's a win even if it's a loss and shit. You would never in your goddamn life see Vince McMahon go on Twitter and be like, yeah, well, they did this or we beat him in this demographic or it was because of this. No, Vince McMahon doesn't give two fucking shits. He ain't reading your tweets. He ain't looking at it. And if somebody walks up to like, Vince, let's go tweet about you, be like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
And Tony Khan needs to focus on his job. Stay the fuck off of Twitter.
I think it's funny.
And just go about his day because he has a great product. He has the #2 company.
Yeah.
He does fantastic things like this. Now, when you want to post something on Twitter like this, like, we're going to donate this to charity. I'm going to give Brody Lee's family this. I'm going to do great. You don't need to post it. When's the last time you saw Undertaker and John Cena on a show that drew less than 1 million people? Who gives a fuck?
And that was what I was bitching at Blaze about earlier.
Yeah.
It didn't draw under 1 million. It drew almost 1 million with just people traditionally watching on cable. Once you get the rest of the numbers, it's going to be well over 1 million.
Tony's the millennial owner. Vince is the boomer owner. I mean, it's a different generation. No, that's what I'm chalking it up for. Tony wants to comment on everything.
Vince is a businessman. And Tony Khan is a guy with a lot of money that loves wrestling.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep his name relevant when he lost really bad. So I agree with you guys. He should. I think it's funny.
Like Tony should have never commented on any of that shit. He should have never commented on the AI Shawn Michaels thing. If you guys didn't see that, where
he's not going to stop.
Yeah, like there's just no reason for it. You're not making yourself look any better.
No,
it's not
you're
benefiting anything.
Idiot.
It's making you look petty. It's making you look petty, and what do you have to be upset about? It's not like
he did the Booker of the Year thing too. He was like, I just took him out of being Booker of the Year. Like, oh, Jesus.
And I mean, if you look at it from my perspective, I think over 600,000 with going up against the NXT that they did is pretty fucking good.
On an off night that you're not used to. Yeah, it was 900 to 600.
It's not even their regular night, their regular time slot. Notoriously, when you move a show, you can expect to lose 40% of your viewers. That is a Nielsen thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They say that you should expect that. So technically, you making even 600,000, that means you probably would have did close to 1 million, if not a million,
possibly.
On your regular night with the same show. So be okay with it. Let it go. Like you don't need to counter program. Like that's where he kind of pisses me off a little bit because he starts to get into the Bischoff pettiness, and we see how that fucking turned out.
Just do your own thing. I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
He should just worry about himself, do his own thing. He just wants to continue that.
Let
war.
Jericho be the asshole that comments that shit, because Jericho likes to stir up shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Let's get to the show. We got two 30-minute no commercials to start off. We had a pre-show announced not too long, and we had, I don't know. Are you getting tired of for the whole match almost with these two? I mean, I love these two, but it's a little too much now. It's the whole match.
It's just been done over and over again, and like you said, it's with the same people. Like, show it to me with Samoa Joe and him. I loved it. First time these two went and they knocked the snot out of each other, I loved it. But again, it's like anything else. If you feed me steak every day for a week, I'm gonna start to get tired of steak. Like, do something different. Now, if these two would have went out and had a completely different match, I don't have any problem with them versing each other. I don't have any problem with the storyline between the two and how roughnecks they are. But literally, when you do the same exact fucking spots and the same exact fucking matches, it gets old.
You know what I liked? After the match, they were showing respect. They chopped the fuck out of each other one last time and hugged. So I thought that was kind of cool. But if you're going to put on a match before and have a bruising match, why not these two? I had no problem with it. And why not throw on a fucking pre-show and try everything you can? Tony tried everything he can to get people to watch his show, and Triple H and them did everything they can with all the big. I was surprised that Rock and Stone Cold didn't show up on the TV or something and have something to say on Tuesday. But for me, everybody won on Tuesday. It was just great for wrestling as a whole. You know what else is great for wrestling? Tony fucking Storm in this storyline. She was taking us to commercial for 2 weeks. She would literally tell us we're going to commercial in the match. And I thought that was hilarious. And as much as picture-in-picture will show the match, this was a brilliant.
Silent film.
Brilliant way to show picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
And she's great. And I don't think I haven't heard anybody say they hate this gimmick. No one.
I love it.
It's the best work she's doing of her career.
It's the best. It's the best female character in AEW right now.
Yeah,
agreed.
I
mean, her coming down and beating Ruby with their shoes was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, chin up, tits out.
Did you guys
shoe?
Yeah, did you guys miss like the Bucks and some of the guys that weren't on the show?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think that's Collision stuff though.
Yeah, they have such a stacked roster that like they have the talent to for people to be missing. And honestly, like. I think it's better sometimes whenever, like, we've seen a ton of the Bucks in the last couple of weeks. I mean, Nick was in the singles matches, and then they were in the tag team match and all that stuff. And then Kenny's been all over the TV with the storyline with Callis. So to see them gone for a week, it totally helps them overall anyways.
Yeah.
So before we get to the actual matches, we got to talk about this guy right here and what he had to say. Christian was on fire. Hold on a second. He was dropping the mic on him.
Oh, for God's sake.
Don't take this ragtag group, dress them up like Halloween, and convince them they're tough guys. And there's a couple other ones. Get the sheet, put up the clean sheets. Your father's coming home, girls. I mean, holy shit. Is Christian on fire with this gimmick? Go fuck yourself to Adam Copeland.
Listen, when is Christian not on fire?
Yeah.
The problem is he's not given the ball enough.
True.
Yeah.
This is a guy that I don't give a shit if it's 1997, 2007, 2017.
I'm your father.
He's money. He's always money. He's a great worker. He's one of the best promos, if not the best promo in the business. He can get under your skin better than any human being ever.
I'm looking. I can't wait for the feud against each other and then eventually teaming together.
Yeah,
is what they.
Everybody wins.
It's phenomenal. I love it.
And you know that he's only scratched the surface of how personal he's gonna get with these promos.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Like,
I'm sure. Why not?
I mean, he was all over the place after the "Go fuck yourself" comment. Which was great. It was jaw-dropping.
Oh.
It was the perfect placement of a curse word. Like, we've seen some, especially in AEW, where they just throw it in there because they can. Like, Jericho's done it a few times. Just to show you he can. And all this is attitude era-ish. You know, we're trying. That was the perfect placement where you were just like, holy shit.
It was so good.
Like, he did not just say that.
Like, be best friends with him, but I was waiting to see what the fuck is he going to say. I mean, I love it. I can't wait to see where this goes, and I think it's gold. So we talked about NXT. Now let's talk about this show. Match of the night. I got two of them: Danielson Swerve and Jay White and Hangman. I love them both.
Danielson
you
Swerve.
have a match of the night.
Danielson Swerve. I mean,
I gotta agree with BJ. Yeah.
And as much as I love Jericho, I loved him getting squashed. It was the right thing to do, in my opinion. Yeah. Powerhouse destroyed him. I loved it. And then now let's talk about title changes. Number one, a lot of people were shitting on the fact that, you advertised Moxley. Didn't you know the day before? And then you canceled him and you brought in Orange and put it back on him. Number one, Rey Fenix has visa issues again. Number two, and so he won't be around for a little while.
Number two, Rey Fenix wasn't supposed to win it in the fucking first place. Fuck off.
Here's what I think they're going to end up doing. I think eventually it was supposed to be Orange finally beating Moxley, and I think that's what we're going to get. But it's going to be Orange as the champion finally beating Moxley at the next pay-per-view. So I don't have a problem with it. Saraya, I didn't want her to lose this early, but I love Sheeta so much.
No, I think it was the right call.
And Saraya did a great job. It was a good match for her. Both of them did.
Saraya doesn't need to have the title to get
her and Tony are going to have a feud,
that she's going to get.
I think her and Tony feud now. What do you think?
I actually agree with you. So I wouldn't have taken offer this soon. I would have at least waited till Full Gear. I don't have a problem with it, though, to pop the rating.
Yeah,
she is definitely deserving. She's a great worker. She lacks in the character side a little bit. But Saraya doesn't need it. She's a fucking star. Her and Tony Storm.
Yeah.
That gives you a main event women's feud that now doesn't involve the title.
Doesn't need it. You're right.
So now we have a TBS title storyline we can have. We have a World Women's title storyline we have. And then we can have an entertainment storyline between Tony Storm and Saraya that's going to be fantastic because Tony Storm, like we've all been praising, best character work ever. And who's probably the best character worker besides her is Saraya because where she comes from and the fact that her character is kind of, I'm king shit. She has Ruby as the heater. That's going to be a great storyline between those two. And then the main thing that the women's division in AEW is slammed upon is not enough storylines, not enough matches for the women, not enough this. So now we have a reason for three main storylines in the women's division, to be running at the same time and to get TV time.
Yeah. And let's not forget about Jamie Hayter.
Yeah. When she comes back.
Yeah.
The one thing that's not on here, too, is some of the segments that we had as well. The Adam Cole and Roddy thing, I loved it. Do you guys, is Adam Cole's injury real or not? CJ?
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think he'll be doing what he's doing if it was really that bad. What do you think, Ray? Is it a work?
You're not putting surgery off that long.
Yeah.
Well, all that shit was filmed on the same day, obviously.
Yeah.
I believe the injury is real. I know CJ loves to scream it's a work.
Yeah, that's why I asked him first.
I don't think it's a work. I think the injury is legit. I just think they filmed all the vignettes right before he had the surgery.
It can't be as bad as he's making it out to be, though.
Probably not.
I don't know, man. With the booking decisions and the way they've hot-shotted Jay White into this feud and things like that, I do think it is.
Good point.
As far as the vignettes go, they don't have the same luster and fun that the MJF, Adam Cole thing has, but it's a way to keep Cole on TV for right now.
Yeah.
I like Roddy in him, though, man. I didn't know he had that entertainment value in him. I love it.
Yeah, I will say, I've been a fan of Roddy's work for a long time as far as the in-ring goes. But he never really showed that kind of character in ROH or in NXT.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see that. And Taven and Bennett are always fucking money. They just never get the shot they need.
Phenomenal.
I haven't seen them enough, but I like seeing them now doing this. I wasn't into them back in the day.
I'm happy that they're all getting a nice prominence to them. The MJF shit, I don't know if we want to roll right into that, but the quarter throwback with Juice, it didn't hit me until they brought it up.
Here's my take.
I didn't think of that either.
I'll keep it quick. Just bad timing.
Yeah. Didn't Juice like have a quarter thing that he did in the past?
It's not. He has always done the quarter thing.
Yeah, even in AEW since he's come in, I can't remember who it was he punched with the roll of quarters.
Several people.
But he's punched a couple people with the roll of quarters, so it's part of his gimmick. So whether it was intentional or whether Excalibur, who we know is a human fucking encyclopedia, made the connection to, you know, MJF cutting that promo during the CM Punk feud about people throwing quarters at him and bullying him and shit. I mean, now it makes it even better. So the fact that people are mad about it, why? Why are you mad about it? It's fucking
MJF
great.
Wouldn't have
he had to approve
it if he didn't want to do it.
I love the Jay White stuff, having the belt, his promos and stuff. I love seeing a lot of Jay White. What about the Wardlow stuff? He has MJF here. Is he heading off to be next in line against MJF?
He should be.
He has a reason to, too. There's a story there. Yeah.
They got a lot of cleaning up to do when it comes to Wardlow. They did him dirty, man.
Yeah. I agree. I don't want to. Him and Starks are the ones that keep on talking in 2024 that they'll be gone. I hope they're not.
Well, I think Wardlow was also. I mean, he was a victim of unfortunate circumstances.
Yes.
Whenever he got his visa, his passport and his driver's license stolen, it happened to be when they were going to Canada.
Oh yeah.
So he got screwed and couldn't go, and then that completely hot shots. And not that his booking wasn't messed up before that, because it was.
It was.
You know, they started and stop on him. They ruined his whole little run with passing the title back and forth instead of keeping him invincible. I'll tell you what I'd like to see. So we've seen the Acclaimed come out in support, well, at least Caster, because we know he's thirsty, in support of MJF and say, well, you know, we'll team with you against these guys. I'll tell you what I'd like to see is I would like to see Samoa Joe and Wardlow come to the aid of MJF, both saying, we don't like you, but we don't like them worse. Yeah. And if you agree to give us a title shot down the line, we will have your back. And then we get to see kind of that MJF Wardlow shit rekindle. And then we get the eventual turn on him. Him just gunning for him right now, it's so far past and so far gone out of the, you know, the short-term memory of wrestling fans that I don't think it works. And then you have the other problem is Wardlow's still over, whether you fucked up his booking or not. Like, the crowd still cheer for him. So you trying to make him a badass heel right now, which is what they're attempting to do.
I mean,
so
you don't need
play
to.
Off of MJF's babyface.
Yeah,
it's not going to be as easy as you think.
Well, I mean, MJF beats White at Full Gear, and Wardlow comes out and bombs him like 4 times to end the show. Maybe something like that.
There's better ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the first thing that popped into my head. But
Joe has said he wants another title shot. Joe is the charismatic badass that we all, I mean, at least me, I think he should be at the top of the card all the fucking time.
He can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, so him coming to MJF and saying, I'm a businessman, first and foremost. You need backup. I don't like these guys. All I want is a guaranteed title match, and I'll make sure you get the Full Gear.
We can get the meat division going, baby. Yeah.
You in the fucking meat division.
I know. I think that's about it, man. That is what we have for the big Tuesday war, if you will. I think, like I said before, I think it's just a win for everybody as a wrestling fan and wrestling as a whole. I enjoyed it. So there's only one thing left to do. CJ Sensation at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, I got to give a big shout out to Mr. Duke Davis, your new Super Indie champion. Of course, I'm biased, but it was a great ending for a compelling story. It was very heartwarming, very grateful that I was the referee for that main event match. Yeah, kudos to the big man, Duke Davis. It's come a long way in just the past year dealing with some things that not anyone I would wish had to deal with. So great ending to beginning of a new chapter of a story for him.
Now, is there any did they get it like a title shot or something from being the Super Indie champ or a trophy, or is there some kind of reward for it? Or
yeah, the Super Indie Championship.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if there was you get a shot at the next title or something like that. Or...
No, it is a title,
secondary title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So.
What about you, Ray? At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, Tony, stay the fuck off Twitter.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I mean, right now, there's a lot of fun stuff going on in wrestling. We're about to start to hit, Survivor Series season, which, I hope this Triple H stuff extends a little more. I hope they split the tag titles up. I hope we get more of that going on. There's just a lot of good stuff going on in wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, stop the petty shit and let's fucking enjoy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, for me, keep in mind, wrestling fans, you're allowed to like both companies. You're allowed to like one or the other.
You're not. Fuck you.
Like whatever you want.
You tribalistic motherfuckers that don't have a fucking clue.
We back next week with more WrestleSense, dickheads and pussies and assholes and all you bitches out there. Peace.
And while you
try,
eat some fucking throat yogurt.
Hey, Blaze.
All right.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, you gotta hug me and tell me that. Throat yogurt is now trending worldwide, people.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys notice something missing tonight?
The doc.
There was less cantankerous old fuck.
Oh.
You're not wrong.
We love you, Doc. Please come back.
I do love you, Doc, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to verbally berate you.
Got a bus ball.
You cocksucker. There he is right there. Look at that.
Yeah, bud.
With his shit-eating grin and his ghetto Goodwill tie. There he is right there, too.
He's everywhere.
Where's he at with the fucking ketchup bottle?
Catch up. Hey, we'll have a lot more for you guys next week. Always a blast. Love you guys. We out of here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.